Yeah, the stigma that is associated with drugs is no good for anyone, right? So there are people who use different types of drugs, and that could include alcohol, that include marijuana, it could include a variety of things, who do those things in a safe and healthy manner, right? So there are those folks. And then there are people who have drug addiction issues. Stigma isn't appropriate for either of those groups, right? If people are behaving in a way that is safe and healthy for themselves and for their community, it makes no sense to stigmatize them. If someone is struggling with addiction, stigma is just going to make that worse, right? One of the things that people often are lacking when they're facing addiction issues is dignity, right? People aren't treating them with dignity and respect. And one of the things that we know about trying to beat an addiction is that people have to be treated well, and they have to be supported, and they have to be loved and given the resources that they need to rebuild their lives. And so stigma just really doesn't make sense in any of that context. So I think that, understanding that regular people, folks out in the community, whether they use different drugs or not, they should be more concerned about the fact that the drug war has these horrible, devastating effects on our communities, creating massive racial disparities in our criminal justice system, locking people up for no reason, tearing families apart, right? And then also one of the really bad things about the drug war as well is that it ends up creating a situation where the drugs that people are doing are not safe, right? Because there's no regulation. And cannabis is a really great example of that, right? So people can go to a store now and they know that it's been tested for molds, and they know that it's not been exposed to pesticides, right? They know exactly what they're getting. Whereas before it was legalized, you really didn't know unless you knew the person who was growing it. So I think there's so much reason to legalize and not to stigmatize.
An inch a mile, it's all the same.